issue started, and I think there was a radio show, morning show, some radio show was talking about it, and they wrote some article to draw the attention of the radio show host to the fact that what had happened wasn't that new in our history or in our politics. So, folks, for those of you who do know what I'm rambling about, I'm talking specifically about the CJ being asked to step aside and the petition and all. How did you get together, be involved in the petition?
Okay, so the petitioner has been my client since the year 2008. So, and we've been in court on his matter since 2008.
He's not a lawyer?
He's not a lawyer
at
all. He's a well-known businessman. And because he's a businessman, he's been involved in a lot of cases in courts. So he pretty much understands court procedures, and he has his own expectations of what justice should look like or what the justice system should give to him. So we are in court until 2018 when the Supreme Court delivers a judgment in his favor. The issues are quite straightforward, not complicated. But since 2018, we've since been battling with the judgment of the Supreme Court, the final court of the land.
Did you say there was a decision in his favor?
In his favor.
So what were you battling?
How to enjoy that very decision of the Supreme Court. Now, his opponent, and I don't want to go into the details, kept filing applications of a kind, of different kinds. And they were represented by arguably some of the greatest lawyers in this country. They didn't win those applications. Eventually, what they did was to come to the High Court to try and set aside the judgment of the Supreme Court, raising issues that the Supreme Court had pronounced on several times over. It was clearly an abuse. So this is a person who understands the process, and he knows exactly what he is doing. So occasionally when I hear that, well, there was a promise to reset the judiciary, and this is one of them, I don't understand it. Because if you know who is involved in this, he believes he's been a victim of that system, and he's trying to fix it. By myself, I have had issues with the Chief Justice, personal issues of a kind that should not even happen in the lowest court of the land. And they were public. People saw it. People could read. And let us lawyers show respect to people who we say are not learned. A lot of them have been to court. They've watched proceedings. They know how proceedings take place. They expect a basic level of decorum between the bench and the bar. And the bar and the bench know that. It fell far. The standards that was exhibited on a number of occasions that I was before the Supreme Court, in matters in which people had interest. There were some group of people who thought this was not right at all. In terms of the exchanges between us? Yeah. In fact, in one of the rulings of the courts, in which I raised an objection about the manner in which the Speaker of the Republic of Ghana was served, which was to be done in accordance with a protocol that was handed from the Chief Justice's office to the Speaker's office. I was overruled.
I'm sorry.
No, my lady, I've got it right.
You can hear me very well.
Yes, my lady.
You appreciate the pickle we are in.
Yes, my lady.
You filed an affidavit on the 15th of... Please hold on. Don't interrupt me. Please.
Oh, yes, my lady.
Always wait for me to land.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it.
Your substantive application, affidavit before us, is dated the 2nd of April. Listen, let me land. If you had just waited to understand my words instead of rushing to justify yourself, you would have admitted that you didn't have a formal notice to object.
It's not, I didn't have a problem with overruling me. I get that every day as a lawyer of my age and experience at the bar. But even the contents of the ruling,
Choose from over 200,000
with the very protocol you had handed to the speaker. So some of those things left people like me wondering. That remember that I was called to the bar by Justice Aban. And so between Justice Aban and to the removed Chief Justice, I've seen a number of them, and I have worked with a number of them. So, and I started practicing in the Supreme Court before that this removed Chief Justice became a judge in the High Court. So she is my senior, and I respect her and everything. I respect a lot of senior lawyers, but you can't be speaking to me about practice in the courtrooms, about justice, and assume that you are talking to a naive person. So
that's what happened. That's what you felt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like there was some disrespect.
Apart from disrespect, it was not just rights. You could see an interested person getting into the arena of conflict. And that was not one of the grounds of the petition. But by myself, I thought she didn't handle her position right. Unfortunately for her, and maybe the stars turned in one particular direction, it's my client who was the petitioner. And again, way before this same client, that's how come I started to work with the great Chachu Chikata actively. He told me one day that, look, if after a judgment of the Supreme Court, you've gone to court several times over in the Supreme Court, maybe I need to enhance my legal team. So he called Chachu Chikata and said, well, I want you to join my legal team. And I was intimidated. I said, well, if you are bringing in Chachu Chikata, please.
Let me step aside.
I'm out of here. So I go to meet up with my senior and tell him, look, I've been told you're coming to this matter. I'm handing over the brief to you. He said, what are you talking about?
You're not going anywhere.
You're not going anywhere. We are going to work on this together. So all of this was fortuitous. We didn't do anything according to any political agenda. This was our client way before you even became Chief Justice. And he genuinely has grievances. And that's how we came into it. I'm sorry, I'm literally taking over your show.
No, please do. It's my show, but I'm here to listen to you.
Yeah,
so let me quickly find out.
Yes.
So what about what's in the petition? That's confidential, or that's...
Oh, and the Chief Justice herself, or the removed Chief Justice, has herself gone out there and put out some of the allegations to the public.
Yeah.
In any event, I'm speaking now at a time when the proceedings are no longer in camera. They are over. They were discussed before, they were discussed during, they were discussed after. I'm not going to add anything, and I won't change anything. In fact, if I will answer any question, I will make an assumption in her favor, and we'll take it from there. So, whatever you want to ask me about it, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously, you've had some kind of a tiff with her in terms of how she handled certain things, or handled you in the Supreme Court.
Sure.
Where's the legality?
The legality lies in the fact that the motion paper invokes the jurisdiction of the court. And if there is an irregularity on the face of the motion paper, which I am pointing out as the foundation to which I am not accepting what he has found.
No, hold on.
Yes.
Which motion paper?
His motion for injunction.
The man is not seeking... Hold on.
Yes.
Whenever I start, stop.
Oh. Once there's an objection taken to it, you cannot overreach that objection with a proposal to amend.
Hold on.
So that's all I'm drawing the court's attention to.
Stop there, Mr. Stop there.
Yes,
Stop there.
Yeah, something like that happened.
Yes.
Can somebody watching say, oh, then maybe Dad had something personal against her to begin with? So...
Not really. To be honest with you, even in the High Court, I had those parts with her, several of them. But right afterwards, as lawyers, we move on. But these were issues. I just drew your attention to it because of the fact that if anybody thought that I needed to be influenced or I needed to be motivated politically to do this. That doesn't even make sense. Because as a person, I had every reason not to be happy with her. And my client had reason not to be happy with her. So did we need the president to come and tell us that? And in fact, I'm sure that if the party in power wanted people to petition against the Chief Justice, they would have had them. I am told that even after the first 3 petitions were sent to the committee, several others followed. Several others followed. And
petitions followed.
Yes, and I will be interested in us getting to know what they were about. It will be important for us to know. So people are able to distinguish between what is political and what was really meant to also enhance an arm of government that is supposed to deliver for people what they expect, justice. You know?
Were you surprised that there was this political angle of the whole thing, as you said? Did that surprise you? Because even in the article that you wrote, you were sort of implying that, hey, this is the law. It's been on the books. Did that surprise you?
It didn't. What surprised me were the kind of people who were speaking. Because we all have our biases. And as I sit, I have my biases. But when things come out into the public, and if you serve the public in a particular capacity, lawyers have a duty to the public. You have to be discerning enough to know what to put out to the public as what the public should expect, or the standard they should expect of you as a professional, and what you are putting out there based on your personal proclivities. The two are different. So I found certain statements made by leaders and by lawyers I respect quite disturbing.
I'm very sad about it. It has really saddened me. And maybe in a way, I feel very distressed by it. Yes. The sadness is about the whole process. My sadness is because as far as I'm concerned, it was a very unnecessary. We have been taken through a very unnecessary situation, and which, as far as I'm concerned, and that is my honest and candid view, this has so weakened the institution of the judiciary. And are these and these are not so, to me, they lack the gravity. They lack the gravity that would lead to a grave outcome, such as the removal of the head of an institution of justice. I've deliberately phrased myself that way. It trivializes the position.
I didn't think they were being honest in the manner in which they approach it.
Could you give an example? Or
the clearest example is the manner in which the removed Chief Justice herself handled the petition. The law is very clear that these matters are supposed to be in camera. You should handle the proceedings right from the petition up until it is over.
In camera.
In camera. Now, on the base, right from the beginning, you write letters, copied so many people, had it circulated in the media. It had to take a rebuke from the president to remind you for the first time that I don't like the way you are handling this, because it's supposed to be handled in a particular way. That didn't deter her. We start the proceedings. You go out in public. You are telling the public about the proceedings and how generally you are not safe and you are not comfortable with the proceedings.
In order to address the troubling violations of the Constitution and illegality of the proceedings that have become obvious to me, that became obvious to me from the beginning of the process. I started an action in the Supreme Court. I applied for the proceedings of the committee set up by His Excellency the President to be held in public, so that in the interest of transparency and for the truth in the matters being raised to be made known to the people of Ghana. I did so because I knew that the secrecy of the proceedings for removing justices was not created in the Constitution as a cover-up for any agenda.
If I were your lawyer, I would advise you to boycott it, because you had no confidence in the proceedings anyway, because you believed that it was going to lead to a particular result. Then, during the course of telling people what you should not be telling them, nobody says no. You've gone overboard. First, you start by this, your letter, which you circulated in the public, and the president drew your attention to it. Now the proceedings have started, and you are still talking. No lawyer up to date has said this Chief Justice had gone rogue, and definitely rogue. If she was not removed on the grounds of this, these were grounds to have removed her, because she was plainly acting contrary to the Constitution.
Before you continue,
yes.
Why do you think that no lawyer was bold enough to point this out? Why the silence?
It speaks to a particular culture. First, we have these alliances, and people are blinded by those alliances. And I'm saying that it still doesn't help those who align themselves in a particular way, because for a person who acts like that, you are thinking about an institution that should protect you and I. So regardless of how you align with the person, issues will definitely arise in which you will take positions that will affect you adversely. So first of all, it's based on our alliances, it's political. So this woman was appointed by a particular government. She's being removed by another government. So regardless of the merits, because we don't want the government which is acting to look credible, or to show that this person who was appointed by another government was not the right person, we just need to take a position.
What we know is that there is a sinister and diabolical plot firmly underway to tighten the president's grip on power and prolong his days in office. So they knew that the firmness of the Chief Justice will not allow this. So they started to unleash the attack dogs on the Chief Justice to try and clear out of the way so that they will have their way.
And some of those who were speaking were those that the public knew were direct beneficiaries of her indiscretion. Direct beneficiaries of her indiscretion. One of the grounds of the petition related to the manner in which she handled the minority leaders' case in courts.
That was in the petition.
That was in the petition. In fact, as we speak, it was in the petition of another party. That matter cannot be defended in any way, because in that her ruling against the speaker, she lied against a protocol that you had established with the speaker, only because you wanted to reach a particular conclusion. If that was an accident, the events preceding the ruling showed clearly that it pointed to a particular thing, whether it was innocent or not unintentional, to the extent that ordinary people can read and understand that no, this cannot be right, because an application is filed at 12 o'clock. By 2, you get a full panel to hear an application which by every rule in the book must not be granted beyond 10 days. Then you say it's granted until the final determination of the matter. And it's on a Friday. Parliament is on Tuesday. You could have told them that, look, you know what? Let the speaker be notified and he should show up here with his lawyer on Monday or Tuesday. And let's give them a short hearing and decide whether we should grant it or the extent to which we should grant it. There was no urgency about it in a way that justified the manner in which she intervened. No way. And to talk about the fact that even in the ruling, you could say, oh, my circular said this, but the speaker misunderstood it. It was disturbing insofar as I'm concerned. And so many other things. So nobody could tell her up to date that she herself had also not conducted herself in the right way. That is where I see that we are in trouble.
Yeah, we're in trouble. Where does the nation move from here? I mean, if we're able, and when we talk about the Ghana Bar Association, you're talking about lawyers, learned people who are supposed to be up and doing, you know. So when nothing scares me more than silence from the bar. So if this has to say anything about the bar, they keep silent.